All right, welcome back, True Seeker. It appears we are live. Sorry if I was just sitting there quiet for a while. On my end, it was taking forever to start the broadcast, but it says we're live. And it also says in the timer we've been live for almost a minute, so I guess it was some kind of delay on this end. But anyhow, big flooding in St. Louis on July 26th. And now today, July 28th, there's been nonstop rainfalls, big flooding in eastern Kentucky. And I want you to see what stands out about this. And again, if you're brand new here and you just stumbled on this channel, you might think this is the craziest thing you've ever heard of. Um, what I'm about to talk about is something I've been educating about for many years and proving my point year after year. And again, I actually hate to bring up this news article, but I got to bring it up again. Back in 2017, Vice News wrote this very nice hit piece on me, and it was titled "Wacko YouTuber Approves World Series Was Rigged." And then if you go down and you read it, it makes fun of me. I'm Zachary K. Hubbard. But what I was talking about at the time is how Houston was flooded by Harvey and LA was burning, and how water puts out fires, and how the Astros would beat the Dodgers in the World Series that year, and how it was all foretold on Sports Illustrated's cover from years before, where it predicted George Springer and the Astros would win the World Series in the year they did. And that article was put out on that article for Sports Illustrated was put out on George Orwell's birthday. Big day for George Orwell in history, and or at least that was the publication date on it. And George Orwell was somebody who wrote about weather warfare. And so, anyhow, I wrote about the significance of Matt Harvey being the first pitcher to pitch in Houston exactly 52 days before the start of the World Series, and the significance of the number 52, which we'll talk about again today. But Vice News made fun of this. And again, my prediction was correct. And what I've been shown for many years is how what happens in the news is so often planned. Yes, they can plan the weather. Again, weather warfare was first admitted to in 1952 on August 15th, the Jesuit order's birthday. But how news, planned events from school shootings to planned flooding such as this is synced up with the planned sports outcomes. And as stupid as that might sound to somebody, I would imagine if America had to hit the survey button and their two choices were stupid or not, 90% of America would hit the stupid button without even thinking about it. And the reality for why they would do that is actually because they're pretty stupid people, because there's a lot of signs that this is exactly what's going on with sports and news. A World Series earthquake in the Bay Area, which is known for its fault lines, while we have the Bay Area World Series, Oakland, San Francisco, and then there's an earthquake right at the start of it. Something I wrote about in my first book, Letters and Numbers. You have the flooding of Katrina, and then you have the Saints winning their first Super Bowl. The Aints become the Saints, winning the Super Bowl in the first season back since the flooding. Again, what's going on is nothing new. So what I'm going to show is how the flooding in St. Louis and eastern Kentucky, which are in the same geographic region of the country, are perfectly synced with the upcoming Super Bowl 57 by a very familiar pattern and Super Bowl 56. And you know what? Let me just go back to this older post right here. This is from 2016, okay? December 6th, 2016. This was ESPN's front page. Tom Brady's amazing march to 201. They didn't write an article like this about win number 200 or 199 or any win number, but they wrote one about 201. And again, Tom Brady's entire career is defined by this number 201. It's not an accident that he was born 201 years after the nation was 1776 to 1977, his birth year, August 3rd, 77. But anyhow, notice how in Jewish gematria, Rams equals 201. Again, this is where we're teaching the significance of these numbers. These numbers have meaning within the Jewish language of gematria, which comes from Kabbalah. Rams equals 201. And again, the road to 201. So guess what? Super Bowl 57 that's upcoming, the flooding in St. Louis. And remember when Brady beat the St. Louis Rams in Super Bowl 36? That was his first Super Bowl. Then he got his 201st career win over that same team. Now we have flooding in St. Louis, where the Rams used to be back when Brady had this article written about him. They weren't in Los Angeles yet. They were in St. Louis. Guess how many days the flooding in St. Louis was before the upcoming Super Bowl? I'll give you 2.01 more seconds to think about it. And yes, the flooding in St. Louis is 201 days before the upcoming Super Bowl. Remember, we just had Yellowstone get wiped out on the day leaving 201 days left in the year, the state park that's in Montana and Wyoming. Wyoming's Josh Allen's big state. And we all know what happened at the Buffalo Tops in the big 201 ritual. Again, if you guys are new here, 201 is the number of numbers to know. And pretty soon my book will be finished that's all about 201. But again, 201 is the number of a million Illuminati rituals. And you can see the things that they're really up to in this world by understanding this number and the way it is used. Remember, Tom Brady, his last Super Bowl win, by the way, he just got Julio Jones on the same day St. Louis flooded, 201 days before the Super Bowl. But remember, Brady's last Super Bowl, he had 201 passing yards for the box score. And were you keeping track? I mean, he might not really have, but that's the way it went down on the box score, 201 yards passing. In the playoffs, the Bucks scored a combined 201 points in their games, including the opponent's score and theirs, 201 points. Again, they met at the White House with Biden on the 201st day of the year, which was Giselle's birthday, Brady's wife, born on the 201st day of the year, July 20th. And don't forget the NBA Bucks also won the finals that same day. Biggest star of the NBA, LeBron, born 201 days after the 84 finals concluded. R.I.P. Lorenzen Wright, 201 days after his birthday. But anyhow, 201, Tom Brady's first career win was over the only city in America that equals 201, Indianapolis. Andrew Luck used to be the QB there, 12/9 birthday with 129 birth numerology, 201 in base 8 counting. Remember, Vince Dooley's name equals 121, 129. Watch Georgia win the championship this year on his 129th day of his age as they put up the stat on the screen in Indianapolis that he won 201 games with Georgia. 201. And don't forget, before week 2 was played, we thought that's what the championship was. Georgia over Alabama before the week 2 games were even played. Week 2 confirmed that that's exactly what it looked like. And anyhow, you have this flooding in St. Louis, the old home of the Rams. Don't forget they were in Cleveland before that. Remember Odell Beckham on his birthday, the day leaving 56 days left in the year, got traded from Cleveland to the Rams and then goes on to win Super Bowl 56, scoring the first touchdown of the game as we thought he would. 9-1 payout. Again, there's advantages to knowing this knowledge. It could save you from a flood. It could save you from a blackout. It could help you pad your pockets by taking advantage of rig sports. It could help you break out of the matrix. It could help you stand up against tyranny and evil. All the things I'm trying to get people to do through this knowledge. There's so many things you can do with this knowledge. Or you can sit there like a chump and deny it and say, oh, it's all got to be a coincidence, as day after day, the next massive 201 ritual lines up. But again, we've been talking about Brady and his ritual with the Rams. And what's funny is I'm like in the 5th edition of writing a book where I talk about Brady and all of his 201 stuff and the Rams. And now we got St. Louis flooding 201 days before the upcoming Super Bowl. But to make no mistake about this, again, let's look a little bit more. So the flooding in eastern Kentucky today, I got to show you the thing about the Kentucky River, too, in light of all the Trident stuff we're talking about. You might not notice the region of Kentucky that's flooded. The Kentucky River forks off 3 ways like a trident. Again, the whole Rams, Sean McVay, his fiance from Ukraine, them winning the Super Bowl right before Russia-Ukraine pops off. Again, he's got the fiance from Ukraine, plus their team's wearing the gold and blue colors. Then you got the Warriors in California, the Warriors in the gold and blue. Anyway, this right here, the Kentucky flooding, Eastern Kentucky, check this out. In Gematria, Eastern Kentucky equals 57, right? Today has 57 date numerology. The day of this flooding in Eastern Kentucky, July 28th, 22, a date with 57 numerology. And from the state's establishment anniversary, June 1st, to the flooding today is 57 days later. It's a new moon, and they're saying this is historic flooding. Imagine how many family farms, businesses that have been there for generations are getting wiped out right now. How many people's livelihoods are getting destroyed right now. And understand, for all the people who don't get it, New World Order. We got a new moon today. They're wiping a lot of old stuff out to bring in the new, the Green New Deal, the Agenda 2030. They want more people in city environments rather than rural environments. wipe out that family farming business that's been there for a long time. Maybe these people are thinking about moving to the city closer where the government subsidies are. But anyway, it's a new moon. Moon also has that Gematria 57. Water's ruled by the moon. We're talking about flooding. Don't forget, food and water have Gematria 22. Big issues in 2022 with food and water, themed by the year. But with regards to 57, here's the other thing. The upcoming Super Bowl, Super Bowl 57, it's on Lincoln's birthday. And where's Lincoln from? Lincoln's from Kentucky, right? Keep talking about how Abraham Lincoln's coming up in so many rituals right now. The 4th of July shooting in the land of Lincoln, Illinois. The Shinzo Abe spelled the same way as Abe Lincoln. The same numbers in the ritual. If you missed that work, again, Shinzo Abe, his name equaled 144. Lincoln shot on 14/4, Jesuit order 144. Shinzo Abe dies supposedly 84 days after the death of the anniversary of Lincoln, the president who saved the Union. United States of America 84, Abraham Lincoln 84, the Jesuit order 84. The last Jesuit leader to die died in Japan at age 84. He was the superior general, which equals 84. But anyway, Super Bowl 57's on Lincoln's birthday, who's from Kentucky. Okay, we're talking about flooding in Kentucky, right next to Missouri. These floods related. And in light of it being Super Bowl 57, as the Rams being the defending champions and doing this ritual in St. Louis where the Rams used to be, notice how Rams equals 57 and 201 in Jewish gematria, like we talked about, right? In Jewish 201, when you run the alphabetic order in reverse, Rams is 57. Forwards and backwards, Rams is 57 and 51 like moon is. Moon, water, rituals. And with regards to the 201 ritual, again, JFK, he gave a speech about weather control. And if you listen to JFK's speech on weather control, it was nice. Remember, Lyndon Johnson replaced JFK. And if you don't know this, look it up. Lyndon Johnson, who replaced JFK after the assassination, he said, "Who controls the weather controls the world." Now, when he said that, Vietnam was going on. After Vietnam, the U.S. government admitted to weather warfare and inducing flash flooding on the Vietnamese as a form of defeating their army and troops, especially since they were reliant on underground tunnels, which were easy to flood out with, major rainfall. And when JFK gave that speech in 61, that was 9 years after the first act of admitted weather warfare is from 1952, August 15th, which is the Jesuit order's birthday. But notice how weather control and the Jesuit order are the exact same in 3 out of the 4 ciphers. And again, there's the big fat 201, like what happened to Yellowstone on June 13th, the day leaving 201 days left in the year, a huge day in history for the U.S. military. Look up U.S. military history on June 13th, and you'll see what I mean. A lot of stuff has happened in history on that day, the day leaving 201 days. Your military files called a 201 file in D.C. The Jesuits consider themselves a military order that serves the Roman Catholic Church. The word Rome is also Rome equals 57 and 51. Same with Rams. Same with Moon. But anyhow, how perfect, right? 201 days to the Super Bowl. St. Louis is getting smashed with flooding. And when I was looking at the Kentucky River, and right away I looked at it, I was like, look at the region it flooded in. The river forks there like a trident. We keep talking about the trident, the coat of arms in Ukraine, the rituals with the Rams, Aries. We've been talking about this constant theme. Now here we are looking at a domestic, unprecedented flood where this is synced up with the upcoming football season. And again, Brady just has all this history with the Rams. He beat them in Super Bowl 36, Super Bowl 53. If you guys weren't here, I wasn't doing Gematria back in Super Bowl 36. I didn't know Gematria until the year of Super Bowl 48 was the year I became aware of Gematria. And that was Seahawks, which equals 48, over the Broncos. Seattle, Washington equals 94. Denver equals 94. That was the 94th NFL season. Russell Wilson's grandpa died at age 94 shortly after. Now he's going to play for the Broncos against the Seahawks. And his first road game is the Monday Night Football game back in Seattle to open this season, where he has a chance of his 48th road win. He's going in with 47 road wins in Seattle on the 47th parallel. But anyway, sports, they're completely scripted. Again, they're synced up with the news, and they're synced up with the weather. And the problem with how good the Illuminati is, this is the Illuminati, by the way. Order of Illuminati equals 201, founded by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. The Jesuit Order 201, he dies 201 days after the anniversary of its establishment. He was obsessed with the Great Pyramid of Giza, which equals 201, plus it has 201 remaining layers of stone. These numbers aren't arbitrary. And the pyramids are synced up with the sun and the stars. Heliocentrism 201. So all roads go back to Rome, but then they go back through Egypt and then back to Babylon. Again, there's a lot of history that's been lost. We're doing the best with what we can in 2022 after a lot of like we're living through an age of censorship now, but it's really been, imagine how many things were deleted in the past that are just people should know about, but they don't. The world would be completely different if the information was out there. A point that should be made about this river, Kentucky River, has gematria of 79, which is the 22nd prime number. Again, water and food both equal 22. And I'm sure this will have a big impact on a lot of people's agriculture and farming. Massive flooding, wiping out a lot of territory. So I got the main points in here. I didn't want to go too long. Oh, yeah, but here's another point that does need to be made. So the Rams won the Super Bowl this year in LA on the date 213 in the 213 area code. And remember how it was the first Monday Night Football playoff game where they beat the Cardinals? If you're out Monday Night Football, it equals 213, a little precursor to what was coming. And they beat the Cardinals on Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And it was number 9 to number 3, Stafford to Odell Beckham for the first touchdown when Odell has the Martin Luther King tattoo and Martin Luther King Jr. equals 93, killed at age 39. Malcolm X equals 93, killed at age 39. But anyway, from the date of the Super Bowl to the date of the flooding in Kentucky, after this storm just started in St. Louis, flooding St. Louis as well, it's a span of 166 days, right? And St. Louis Rams is also 166. This whole geographic region getting swamped. It's part of one connected ritual. And here's the other piece to get about this. Again, just like how this article made fun of me for everything that I said about 52 and sports and history and flooding. And again, I have a book out there, Letters and Numbers, where I talk about 52 and flooding. And anyhow, you just always find this number 52 around major flood rituals. So this is now happening after the Los Angeles Rams won the Super Bowl, correct? Los Angeles Rams equals 52. Super Bowl 56, which they won, was the 52nd of the modern era. And just to make a point about 56, natural disaster has that gematria 56. The day before, today has 57-day numerology. Yesterday, when the rains were coming down that led to the flooding today, yesterday had 56-date numerology. The big story yesterday was the earthquake in the Philippines on the 56-date numerology. And again, that's a whole nother topic. But again, that's like the 1989 World Series earthquake. But notice, Los Angeles Rams 52, right? Look in the most simple cipher. Flood, Earth, Enlil, Pope, Devil, they all have gematria 52. Enlil is the Babylonian god of flooding. Look at it in the base ciphers, how Flood and Earth are the exact same in 3 out of the 4, and how Earth and Enlil and Devil, Earth, Enlil, and Devil are the exact same in all 4 ciphers. Earth, Enlil, Devil, the same in all 4. Enlil, the Babylonian god of flooding, the god of the Old Testament that punishes the world with the flood. The Pope, the 52-week calendar named after Pope Gregory. Look how perfect it all is. And again, at the end of the 16th century, the language, the calendar, all this stuff synced up. Now, I got to tell you the thing that weirds me out the most about all this. I'll go back in history and I'll look at other massive natural disasters and floods way before you had the 1952 admitted act of weather warfare, but way before this. And I'll see these same patterns. And that makes me raise an eyebrow, and that makes me reminded that, again, this whole thing comes from the dark half of Kabbalah, the Qlippoth, which is about spell casting and sorcery. I mean, we learn about, rain dances and, I mean, life is weird, right? I mean, sometimes people say things like, "Oh, that person got to be crazy for saying that." But just a funny thing. When I went to Buffalo, remember, it was supposed to be a really rainy day that Saturday, and I was disappointed. I was like, "Man, I'm going in town, and that's probably going to be the best day of the week. And it's supposed to be all rainy and crap weather." Well, remember, it ended up being a beautiful day. It was sunny all day. The rain held off, and then, like right when we wrapped up the day, we'd been out there for 8 hours streaming or so, just downpour of rain came, like, right when we wrapped it up. It was crazy, and it was funny because we had just gone to this place down the street to eat. Right when it all started, we, like, walked into the Sunshine Cafe, and then the downpour came. But there were a lot of people, like I was saying, thousands of people out there where I'm saying, "You guys keep your fingers crossed. We need that day to have good weather so we can get out the message in a big way," and we did. But we defied the forecast until the day was done. So, I mean, maybe there is something to energy and focusing energy and making things happen more than we know. I mean, when you put your minds to things, things happen. So the point I'm making is, it's possible they were able to achieve similar outcomes to what they do today with the same kind of ritual magic and focus on energy, if you will. So I hope I'm making that point clearly enough. And just to show you a little bit more about 52, in the base ciphers, Gematria equals 52, Kabbalah equals 52. That's where this comes from. Again, Kabbalah's Book of Formation talks about the way God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. And if you write out the phrase the Cabal, which comes from Kabbalah 52, so, and remember, it's a number of authority. Authorities 52, governments 52. The list goes on. President 52, White House 52. Not an arbitrary number. So, but again and again in the weather, we see the 52 patterns constantly. And notice where flood is 52, forwards 83 in reverse, Los Angeles Rams 52, 83. So they got the flood numbers in the name. They're connected to Ukraine with the trident, who's Poseidon. Again, the flooding here in Kentucky is in the southeast region, where you got the trident in the river, the fork. It's the order out of chaos model. For the people who don't get why they do this, again, money's made off this. And again, if it's policy, if they want to shift people from rural to city, this is destroy the family legacy. Let Mother Nature. Well, we'll blame it on Mother Nature, right? But that's doesn't look like that's really what it is. It looks like it's Mother Nature being tampered with spell casting, sorcery, technology, a combination on all fronts. You know, but again and again, this is what we see, and we've pointed this out. Like sometimes, a city might be happy they won a championship until they notice the headline that's not too far down the road that's synced up. It's like a give and take. So, with regards to St. Louis, I-70 getting flooded. So there's about St. Louis as well. St. Louis has the gematria 25, like flood like Earth. The rainfall was coming down on the 25th. It led to the flooding early the 26th. Again, the 25th was part of the ritual, but St. Louis flood and Earth all 25. That list of words we just looked at. Again, they all had 25 as well. They were all 52 and 25. Flood, Earth, Enlil, Pope, Devil. They're all 52, 25. St. Louis. And the thing about I-70 that stands out about this is, again, climate change has that gematria of 70, big number. St. Louis, it's got saint in it, makes you think of Catholic. And the Pope's in town, right? The first Jesuit Pope is Francis. Francis is 70, like Vatican. And he's written the encyclicals about what to do about climate change. Again, climate change is 70. So is Paris, France, where the Jesuits were created. Think about the Paris Climate Accords. The Jesuits from France, the first Jesuit Pope, Pope Francis. Again, he's Mr. 201. His birth name's 201, first to live in Suite 201. The last French Pope was the 201st. Founded again in August 15th, 1534, where the Jesuits in Paris, France, the first act of weather warfare admitted to, August 15th, 1952. By the way, today, this flooding does come 158 days after Mitch McConnell's birthday, the big politician in Kentucky. 158. That's a lot like the date 15/8, the Jesuit birthday, the first act of weather warfare. That's some things could be a coincidence. If anything, maybe that. But um, again, I mean, this is what's going on, you guys, and it's what's been going on. It's nothing new. The only speaking of 57 and Super Bowls, The only Super Bowl that ever had rain at the halftime show was the Super Bowl halftime show where Prince performed Purple Rain. That's the only time it ever rained on a Super Bowl halftime performer. The day Prince performed Purple Rain. Remember, Purple Rain equals 58. His girlfriend dead the day of the 58th Grammys. We predicted his death before it happened. He had the hit song "I Would Die for You." He wrote it with the number 4, the letter U, two digits. Number 4, letter U. U is the 21st letter. I would die 421. If you read it with gematria eyes, what day did he die? He died 421, April 21st, on the Queen's birthday, the day they lit up Niagara Falls purple. And Vanity, his girlfriend, who died the day of the 58th Grammys, where Purple Rain's 58, she was from Niagara Falls. So, rituals upon rituals, years and years showing you how it's unfolding. And again, sorry to all the people who were flooded. I was just talking to a nice couple in Kentucky who are homesteading out there, and I hope they're not in this region. I don't remember them saying they were in the southeast, so I'm hoping they're all good. But again, so many people who were in that region, they're not all good, you guys. And uh, what you really need to take away from these videos is this is what's going on. And if you doubt that, look into it more. Look into the books I've written and what I've been talking about and how redundant the patterns have been. I haven't had to switch up anything about what I'm saying. I haven't had to run away and hide in shame. I don't have any problem putting my face out here because I've been backing up my points for almost a decade straight now. And again, I know this knowledge needs to get out there. And the reason it needs to get out there is so people can wake up to what's really going on. They can be more prepared for what's to come. And if enough people wake up, we can take down this federal government and whatever else needs to be taken down in the world to stop this kind of shit from happening. Yes, there is such a thing as Mother Nature, but another thing that's very real is government psychopaths who are all about money and their order out of chaos agendas. And again, this destruction for this community will put money in other people's pockets. That includes the group who are behind such acts of devastation. Again, all wars are bankers' wars. This is weather warfare. Governments will say, we have an emergency. We need money printed for this emergency. That printed money generates profit and interest for the bankers and also the people who will come in and get the land on the cheap and develop it into what they want to or for whatever agenda they want. I mean, if the agenda really is also to save Mother Nature, if the psychopaths really do care a lot about Earth and they want people out of a lot of the areas and round up in cities like rats in cages, if that's what they want and they think that that's what needs to happen, I mean, that's ultimately the agenda too. So not everything's about money and wealth. These people have pretty much all the power and control. They control the printing press. They control your governments and your politicians, your nightly news anchors. What's on the screens? What's going into people's mind's eye through the screens? They control all that already. Just they want more and more control and seemingly more and more control over our bodies. You know, every last thing about us. But yeah, it's another 2-1 in St. Louis. While Brady's getting arguably, the best wide receiver in the league, St. Louis is drowning in water. So we'll leave it there for now, True Seeker. Keep this one short and sweet. And it's about time to make dinner over here. So have a good rest of your night. Thank you to everyone who hits the like and the share. And again, for the new person here who thinks this is crazy, I really do encourage you to look into the predictions we've had for storms and the correct predictions for so many things, from elections to sports outcomes to what's going to be in the news to when Russia Ukraine was going to pop off. Dead on that. Again, this knowledge allows you to connect the dots and see just how bad the manipulation is. Again, look into the history of weather warfare if you think this is so crazy. My understanding of this didn't happen all overnight. It came from years and years of reading and looking into things and realizing that the people who control this nation are occultists. They're into things that most of us aren't into, like numerology and astrology. So many people think because they're not into that, yeah, that's the other thing about Americans. Like I said earlier, if you could have a vote of the whole nation, probably 90% of the people would hit this is a stupid video, I don't want to watch any more of this button. But those same people know nothing about history. They haven't looked into anything. They feel like everything they learned in slave school is all they need to know. And again, we somehow we got to overcome this this cognitive dissonance and this like I don't know how to describe it. It's ignorance, it's arrogance, but whatever it is, it needs to be changed in society. So sorry to all the people suffering from the flooding. And again, you guys, it is a reminder just to have those emergency supplies on hand because you never know what town is next. Who are the psychopaths targeting next? All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.